Welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with Immigration Attorney Brian Lerner. I'd like to just give an update of some items and let you know where it's going and so forth. The 4-month travel ban on refugees so that the administration can analyze and vet or change vetting procedures has just completed, and now for refugees to come into the United States, they will have to go through even further of a vetting process. The real question here is what Trump is trying to do to keep as many people out as possible. That's the reality of what's happening here. He has indicated that the United States will now accept less than 50% of the refugees which were previously accepted, and of those refugees that are coming in, there will be further vetting. Now, the question really is, what is extreme vetting? What is further vetting? I mean, they were put through the ringer, as you say, as it was. It took already a considerably long time. Many people had to stay at refugee camps in tents outside of their home country in order to avoid the persecution for a very long time before being admitted as a refugee to the United States. So the reality here is that when the administration claims that they are doing further vetting or more extreme vetting, what that really means and what it comes down to. And the reality is it comes down to, especially in the Muslim countries, it comes down to making it as difficult as possible for refugees to come into the United States. And when you look at the history of the United States and what we stand for, we are a melting pot. Okay, we have people from all over the world here. We don't discriminate on one item or another. We don't just say because they are, for example, their persecution is, this particular type of persecution, we don't want them. Because they're this particular race, we don't want them. Because they're this particular religion, we don't want them. It doesn't go into anything of that nature. In fact, Trump just had Vice President Pence travel somewhere to make essentially a declaration that people who are suffering persecution because they are Christian will have a nice clean path basically to get into the United States, and minus the illegality of singling out a particular religion and minus the Constitution and the First Amendment. There are people of all different kinds of religion, all different kinds of background around the world who are suffering persecution because of what they believe. You cannot just single out a particular religion and basically focus all efforts on trying to bring just that religion in because the Constitution does not permit that. So I am quite certain that there will be lawsuits that will be filed, showing why that is not the constitutionally permissible way to go about allowing people to come in. So all I can tell you is that everything has gotten more difficult in which to come in, and the difficulty in many cases is really brought up as a roadblock to try to limit the number of people coming in, whether it's legally done or illegally done. Like, for example, there was a memo that was just put out regarding non-immigrant visas, and it used to be that, and by that I mean it used to be before today, that if you had a non-immigrant visa approved, such as an L1, an H1, an E2, whatever it was, and you just wanted to extend it, that there would be preference to the prior adjudicator approving the initial visa itself insofar as the review and the approvability, meaning it wasn't that hard to continue on with the same type of visa through an extension because you already got it. Well, the new memo put out makes clear that they're going to forget about whatever was previously adjudicated, and you essentially have to prepare everything from square one again. So that's okay. You have to do what you have to do. So that means if it comes through my office, instead of preparing what would have normally been an extension petition, which is light on different areas of evidence, we'll just prepare it as though it's a brand new petition, put all the necessary evidence in, and essentially make the adjudicators work harder to see that the burden has been met. So in this particular case, and in all the different cases where things are becoming more difficult, it does not mean that it is impossible. It does not mean that you will get denied. What it means is that it's more difficult to put the petition forward to get the approval. And that just means we all have to work harder. We all have to do what we have to do. So if in the Trump years, there's going to be item after item after item of trying to limit immigrants and non-immigrants getting to the U.S. It just means that we, as the immigration lawyers, will do what we are constitutionally enabled to do to help the people who can legally come here and legally stay here in order to benefit from the United States and to get the rights that they are afforded under the U.S. Constitution. There's a reason that that document has stayed around for over 200 years, and there's a reason that it is so powerful in that one president that may want to disregard item after item of the Constitution, there are checks and balances. There are balance of powers. So you can see already, for example, the third Trump ban was just denied and given a nationwide injunction against going into effect. So who knows? Maybe Trump will come out with a fourth time and a fifth time, and every time the Constitution and the courts and the balance of powers will go forward and do what's necessary to maintain the democratic principles of the United States and to maintain the constitutional principles that are afforded people who are here in the United States. Okay, more on the coming videos. Thank you.